Sometimes the best stories in golf aren't found on tour. You'll find them at the back of the range. And here's your host, Ben Adelberg.
And once again, welcome to the Back of the Range Golf Podcast. I am your host, Ben Adelberg. This is episode 156. So, as you can imagine, I met quite a few people at the USAM at Bandon Dunes. I was able to reconnect with some of the best amateurs in the world that I have previously had as guests on the Back of the Range. U.S. Mid-Am champs like Matt Parziale, Kevin O'Connell, and Stuart Hagestad. I was able to meet some of the youngsters that you're going to see competing in the USAM for quite some time. Michael Thorbjornsen, Carl Phillips, yes, I know he was injured, but he'll be back, Preston Summerhays, and Mr. 64, Aaron Dew. And I also enjoyed the time I spent with four amateurs in the field that have combined for 151 USGA championships. That would be Gene Elliott, Doug Hansel, Dave Ryan, and Sean Knapp. I was there all week, right until the end, and was fortunate enough to spend time with Tyler Strafacci throughout the entire final and get to have a nice conversation with him on episode 154, and he ultimately left Bandon Dunes with the Havemeyer Trophy. And then there's Ollie. It might have said Charles Osborne on his registration form, but everyone now knows him as Ollie. So I bumped into him quite a bit at the U.S. Amateur, and I guess you could say it was good timing to always be able to get an interview with him. But when you make it all the way to the finals, you're going to have some ample time for conversation. I think the first time that I spoke with Ollie was after the 64 he shot in the second stroke play round, which infamously came after the Brownie Sundae he had the night before. As many of you know, he went on to have Brownie Sundaes every night as a good luck ritual. I spent a lot of time with Ollie and his teammate Mac Meisner at Bandon Dunes. Their dads were there as well, just super people, very welcoming. I spent time texting Ollie's coach at SMU, Chris Parra, during the week. By the way, SMU has two USGA champions on their team. That would be Noah Goodwin and Ben Wong. They have Mac Meisner, the 2020 Southern Am champion, and they have Ollie, who is the 2020 U.S. Amateur runner-up. So looking ahead to college golf, you might want to watch out for the Mustangs. As I said, Ollie and his dad, Steve, were always available for a chat. I actually sat with them the night before the final during dinner, which also led to that video of Ollie eating a brownie that made it onto the Golf Channel broadcast of the championship match. I wonder who shot that video. Before we get to this absolutely hysterical episode, please make sure you are following along on social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Another thing to remember is that every episode is available at thebackoftherange.com. Episodes are going to be coming out pretty fast, so you're going to fall behind. That's okay. Just make sure that you are listening to these previous episodes. Again, they're all available on the website, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere that you get a podcast. You can find the Back of the Range. Logo towels are for sale. Hats are on order. Face coverings are on order. More on that later. Now, I get asked all the time, Ben, what's your favorite episode? And this is really an impossible question. There are great episodes for many. I have favorite episodes for different reasons. It's really hard to compare them. I love doing them all, but every episode is just so different. But I can easily say that this episode is probably one of the funniest in the history of the Back of the Range. And it's all because of my guest, Ollie Osborne, the 2020 U.S. Amateur runner-up. Ollie, how are you?
Doing great. How about you?
I'm well. I'm recovered from the USAM at Bandon. I feel like you and I have spoken more than I think I've spoken to you more in the last 2 weeks than probably anyone else. Are you tired of me yet? I mean,
Actually, no.
Oh,
It was kind of throughout the week. I was a little sad and a little lonely. So it was definitely nice to hear from somebody else.
oh my God. Okay. We're going in that direction already. Yeah, you look like you needed friends. I mean, it just, you seemed okay the whole time. I mean, you got to play a lot of golf out in Oregon. I mean, did you even bother to count up how many, I guess, rounds of golf you probably played out there?
Shoot, we played Sheep's Ranch the Thursday before, and then
Right.
we did that par three contest on Friday. Practice round Saturday, Sunday, and then 7 days of golf in a row, and a couple. Well, the last day was 36, obviously, and I think I only played
There are a couple rounds in
20
there where,
something.
there's a couple rounds in there that ended early, but have you ever played that much golf in that many consecutive days?
No, that was I've definitely like played a long time in a row, just 18, but like those not walking at least,
Right.
and then those 36 days. So yeah, that was definitely most golf I've played in a row for probably my entire life.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if there's a time to do it, the USAM is the time, and we'll talk about the USAM a little bit later, and we'll talk about what's in store for you. I mean, runner up at the USAM obviously gets you into the Masters, gets you into the US Open, and opens up other exciting doors. But a lot of people are probably just learning about you based on that 1 week at Bandon Dunes. And yes, we will definitely talk about the damn Brownie. I feel like I am guilty of elevating that into your life because that damn video's everywhere. So before we get
Yeah.
into, yeah, I know. Before we get into that, though, I mean, you're sophomore at SMU and at Reno, Nevada. So let's get a little background. Tell me about maybe your junior golf in Reno and how you found your way to SMU.
Oh wow. Well, I actually started playing tournaments when I was 3. I There was this little junior deal at Montreux that they put together, and my parents signed me up as soon as possible, and I started there, and then I did a bunch of Northern Nevada events, uh, which sometimes they're okay and sometimes they're awful. It could be snowing.
Okay.
Um, it kind of depends. Um, and then there's not a ton of competition in Reno, so I had to go out, and my dad and my brother and I would uh, kind of venture out to Northern California a lot, probably
Sure.
almost like every weekend, every other weekend for those NCGA events. And then I started to get in those AJGA events a little later in my career, and managed to do a little better in those. And the way I got into SMU actually is kind of funny. So my buddy Josh Sedino is from Northern California, and he was committed under Josh Gregory.
Yep.
And then Enlo took over, and he was still committed, and so he told me to give Enlo a call and stuff. So decided to do that my freshman year of high school. And I was always interested. Kind of kept in touch with them, and then Josh actually decommitted Sedino, and then I committed probably a year after he decommitted. So, I mean, without Josh, it would have never happened. So yeah, it
So
was kind
what?
of.
So how? Why SMU? I mean, great history with the program. Obviously, multiple guys have gone through there and made it onto tour. Whether it's Kelly Craft or Bryson or Payne Stewart. I mean, there's great history there. But I'm just thinking
Hmm.
of a guy that comes from Nevada. I'm thinking this. Playing Northern California. I mean, you kind of have Pac-12 written all over you. It's one thing for your buddy to say, "Hey, call." Call down to Enlo, call down to SMU, but maybe at some point you need to step foot on campus or you have to go take a visit. What was it
Hmm.
about SMU that really piqued your interest?
Yeah. So my sophomore year, I came out for a visit to the facility, and Enlo took me around the campus. I thought the campus was awesome. Um, and then he brought me out to where I'm at right now, actually at Trinity Forest, and it was like he told me the plan and how it's going to look at the end, and I kind of fell in love with that. And also, not many people know this, but my dad went to SMU.
There
So
you go.
he had connections too, and said it was some of the best, like the best time of his life, and he had his buddies down here and stuff. So that definitely helped to know my dad had been here and enjoyed it. And I would say the main part for sure was definitely Trinity Forest, though.
That clears up the picture. Now we're starting to we unravel mysteries here at the back of the range. Okay, so your dad went to SMU. Now Trinity Forest, I've never been there. I do have a standing invite to play it though, which was, while you were busy, trying to, win the Halfenmeyer Trophy, I was making golf connections basically as much as I could. I kind of had, I couldn't just, talk to you all the time. I got to take care of myself. But talk to me about Trinity Forest as a home base for SMU and what you're able to do there, the membership. Tell me a little bit about this place.
Yeah, so we have our own building on the back of the range, actually.
There you go. I mean, come on.
So that was a big seller. We have our own hitting bay. Our locker room's back here, and it's just a great building. And then we actually have a wedge range and a short course, and then a range with like 3 different sides on just across the highway, and it's really easy to get to. And then the course itself, Court Crenshaw, kind of very linksy for a U.S. course.
Sure.
So it's kind of cool to see out here. There is absolutely no trees. So our punch shots have definitely the punch outs have gotten a lot worse.
I'm starting to see why someone that spends a lot of time out there at Trinity Forest would have some success at Bandon Dunes.
Yeah, definitely.
So
putting from about 40 yards and playing old man golf. Yeah, for sure.
Easy now. I'm twice your age. Let's just calm down. All right. So here's my question for you. You come into SMU, you actually win your first collegiate event as a freshman at Kiowa, and you're beating out guys on your team that have, Goodwin, Noah Goodwin, Ben Wong, they have USGA titles on their resume. Obviously, I spoke to Mac a couple weeks before the USAM. He now has a Southern Amateur title on his resume, and then you just stroll in and win a tournament as a freshman. Did that surprise you, or did it surprise your teammates, or were you just like, all right, well, I'm here, I might as well win?
That was a weird week. I think it was about 3 weeks into college, and I looked up to those guys there. I thought very highly of. I still do think highly of Ben, Noah, and Mac. I gotta watch myself.
That's okay.
No, I still look up to them, and they were great players. And obviously, I hadn't done as much as they had, so it was kind of cool. But I got out to the event and I started playing. And I was like, these guys aren't as good as I thought they are. So I thought I was going to be trailing behind a little bit, but it was nice to just get in there and kind of do my thing and come out with a win. But it was kind of a weird win because I played 2 days. I had a 1-shot lead, and I come into the clubhouse, and they take my score, and they're like, I think I shot 1 under that last day, and I agreed with it, and they said tomorrow's canceled, so you're the champion. I'm like, what the hell just happened?
Wait a minute. So I saw it was
they canceled for the hurricane that was coming in.
This doesn't even count. Why am I even wasting my time talking
I know,
about
right?
this?
That was why I was so mad about my first college win. I was like, this thing doesn't even count.
It's a little 36 hole hit and giggle. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I know, right? So yeah, I was definitely a little disappointed, but I guess it still counted as a win somehow.
Yeah, we'll give it to you. So now what's interesting is you mentioned, like, you look up to these guys, you see these names, and you're like, wow, I can play with these guys. You know that's going to happen to you too. I mean, now there's going to be guys that are going to be playing in a collegiate tournament, and they're going to see Ollie Osborne up there, and they're going to be thinking, oh, that's the guy that runnered up at the USAM, and that's what's going to happen. You're one of those names now.
And then I'll just shank it around, and they're like, wow, this guy sucks.
All right, so tell me about your mental coach that you're working with that has you so highly primed and operating so strongly with all this positive affirmation that you have going on right now?
Actually, yesterday was the first day I've ever been to a psychologist.
Okay. How'd that
definitely, it was interesting. It was kind of talking about my feelings and stuff, and I was a little uncomfortable at some point, but we made it through.
Is this a sports psychologist, or were you laying on a couch and?
No. Yeah, it's a sports psychologist.
Okay, just want to make sure.
He's for golf.
Oh, okay,
I'm not going through a midlife crisis.
Okay.
Don't worry.
Again with the midlife shit. Really?
Sorry.
That's all right. Because there's HIPAA violations. We can't talk about your medical history, so we're not going to do that. So you're going to be one of those guys that people are looking up to. Is that a place that you actually can see yourself in? Do you want to be in that place where you're one of these top names in collegiate and amateur golf? Or, I mean, I'm genuinely curious. Is that a role that you want to be in?
I'd love to. Yeah, it's it's kind of weird to think that it may have already happened. It hasn't really set in yet.
Right.
But I'm excited for what's to come. But yeah, definitely that's a role I'd love to take on.
Last season, the spring obviously did not end the way didn't end the way anyone wanted to. No one got to make a return to their conference championship or the nationals or anything. So it's been interesting to kind of follow a lot of the players and see what they've done basically from, I guess, March to July to see what they've done to prep or get ready. Take me back to when things kind of went into lockdown and quarantine. What was the state of your game? What was this, where were you in March? What were you doing?
We got the news, school got out. I think that was like that March 12th. And that was, it was more like March 14th or something. It was right in the middle of spring break. And I was actually in Houston with Ben. I was feeling pretty good about my game. But spring break, I probably didn't spend too much time playing golf.
Yeah.
More time partying.
Okay.
But and then I went home for a little bit, probably about a month, and just did school. And it was awful because everything got shut down. So I just kind of stayed inside and had this little putting mat and tried to make my own net in the backyard. But I didn't. It was hard to pick up a club some days. And then we came back. I came back to Dallas for like mid-April, and I stayed for about a month and a half.
Did you just quarantine by yourself, or were you with teammates? Like, what is? I'm just trying to guess. If you're with your team, what do you knuckleheads do under quarantine?
I came back with the team, and it was just Jackson, Mac, and I at the golf house.
All right, so you get back to the golf house, and you're with Jackson, you're with Mac, and I'm guessing there's not a lot of supervision during a time where there's really no golf to play and there's nothing to do. So I don't want to get too into the details of how crazy the SMU Golf House is, but can you at least share a story that isn't going to cause you or me or SMU any problems?
Shoot. Honestly, I don't know. We would wake up in the morning at like 10, do school until about 2, and then go play golf, and it was on repeat.
That sounds
for about a month.
That sounds like a great life. I mean, that really does sound fun. So as you're starting to kind of see a light at the end of the quarantine tunnel, so to speak, where, all right, I need to actually get myself ready for some of these summer tournaments, and I need to kind of prep for the USAM. Let's just start with the USAM. I mean, you have your summer. I think you played in you played in a couple of tournaments. I don't have it right in front of me, but you played the Southern, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get to the USAM. So you played the USAM last year, missed the cut, didn't make match play at Pinehurst, but you're coming into Bandon. Obviously, everyone's on everyone's pretty much on an exemption. There's no qualifying. Your immediate thoughts of going out to Bandon and how this course might set up for you. I mean, walking in, what's your mindset?
I just played the Cal State Am about 2 weeks ago, and I was staying at Joey's house.
Oh, so, you're staying with Verzage?
Yeah.
Oh
we spent like the last month together.
All right. And, so that explains so much, because I just had Verzage on on the last episode of the Back of the Range, and
Mm-hmm.
he's all okay. So this is really interesting because Joey Verzich, when you look at him and talk to him, you know right away that there's something a little bit off about him. You
Mm-hmm.
have it hidden very well in this, aw shucks, I just, play golf. And so you're one of those where it's like you hide it, but you're secretly crazy.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes. But Joey does look homeless from the outside, so you can definitely tell.
Yeah, you look like, you're just part of like, an after school special movie, like, and he looks okay, perfect. Got it. All right, so you spent a month and a half with Joey Verzich.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. All
Like,
right.
yeah, because he was here at the Southern and he stayed with us.
Okay.
And then we went, and then he came back no, we went straight to San Diego and hung out with him. And then we went back to Reno after the Cal Stadium and hung out more. And then we went to Bandon together.
Wow.
So, I saw a lot of Joey.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty easy not to get nervous walking into a U.S. Amateur when you've just been hanging around with him. I mean, I'm guessing that's a good way to keep things nice and light.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. So you get into Bandon, and as you said, you played Sheep Ranch and you played the par 3, just trying to stay loose. It's kind of an odd situation where you're at a tournament site several days previous to actually getting to see the golf courses that you're actually going to play on.
Yeah. No, it was definitely a little weird. But we actually made the tee time for Sheep Ranch while we were still in Dallas, and I was like, I don't know if I want to spend $300 to go play this course. And then Joey showed me a whole video of it, and I was like, all right, I gotta go play this course.
Yeah, you gotta check this place out. I wasn't able to do that, but I saw plenty out there. So I guess famously, your stroke play session. We're not going to run through every single shot of the championship, but I mean, famously, you go 77-64, and that's the birth of the damn Brownie Sundae issue, which I didn't understand what that was, but because I was posting things on social media the entire time for myself and also for the USGA, and I'm looking at your stuff and all your comments and like your Instagram stories, people are talking about this damn Brownie. And I was like, what? I'm thinking it's like it's a nickname, because Osborne or Brownie Born, something. I'm thinking there's some sort of connection. And then I figure I think I texted Para. I think I texted your coach to find out what's going on with this. Do you remember when it actually became a thing? I mean, just having a couple Brownie Sundays isn't. I mean, when did people start like noticing it? I know it was a thing before he shot the 64, but when did it become like, oh gosh, this is now a thing on my social media page?
It was when I did that first interview. It was after Cameron Sisk match on 17. I was interviewing with Bones, and he asked me what I was going to do after the round, and I said I was going to roll a few putts and go grab a brownie. And then when I turned on my phone next, I saw about 100 stories that I was tagged in, and it said "Feed the kid a brownie," and it like all my team posted one and posted pictures of brownies, and then my brother and his buddies were all doing it. So it took off from there, and I regret it because I came home and I had about 20 brownie platters.
Oh my gosh, really? From what, like teammates and family?
Yeah, well, just all the family, friends, and people. I'm like, guys, I don't love them that much. It just, I thought it was funny, so I said it.
Well, I think I saw. Now you knew what you were doing. I mean, this is probably your first time being on live TV. I'm guessing, unless unless there's something else in your past we haven't uncovered. I mean, you pretty much know what's coming. This is my opportunity to have a little fun.
Yeah.
Well said. All right. Good. Well said. Wow, that was robust statement there. All right. So let's talk a little bit about your dad. Your dad was on the bag the entire time, and this is not the first time you've had family caddying for you. Can you sum up the difference between having your dad on the bag at the USAM versus your brother on the bag at the Barracuda in a PGA Tour event?
I made the cut with Papa Steve, and I missed the cut with Steven.
Gotcha. Okay. I don't know why we've gone into these short answers, but let's ask a little bit about your brother's style. I saw they did a little video clip of you and your brother while he was caddying for you at the Barracuda, and I'm thinking to myself, these guys, if they don't make the cut, they're just going to get kicked out anyway because they're probably going to steal something or break something there. Was it just two kids just running kind of roughshod over this place?
I thought we were very professional.
Okay.
But maybe a little bit for sure. But it was kind of cool to have him on the bag. But no, it was a little awkward being that young, and all these kind of older guys out there.
Who were you able to actually go up to at a PGA Tour event and be somewhat normal?
Shoot.
Or
honestly, just my brother.
Really? So you just felt like you couldn't.
There were some staff at Montreux that I could kind of have a normal conversation with, but I mean, everybody else was so different. Like I couldn't shoot the shit with anybody.
Really?
I mean, like always your parents, but like they're not there. Oh, actually, I qualified with a guy named Taylor Montgomery.
Okay.
And I played a practice round with them. And so I actually played practice round for the pre-qual with them at Dayton, and then qualified with them at Hidden Valley. And then we played practice round a bunch together.
Nice.
And then my brother knew him. So we could kind of have some fun.
Nice.
But that was about it.
About it. Okay. Now, I saw your dad, obviously, the entire week. And even, with other matches, not just in the final, but your conversations with him, obviously couldn't hear them and pick them up, but they seemed like they're very quick, very succinct. Describe kind of the caddy relationship between you two, discussing shots. Were you just basically confirming with him what you thought, or were you bringing him in for advice? What was kind of the dynamic there?
Honestly, I'd pull a club and tell him what I liked, and he would either say yay or nay. And most of the time it was yay. So
sure.
Yeah, it turned out to be pretty quick most of the time.
Yeah.
And then if I had a question, like I'd ask like, do you like a 5 or a 6 iron or something like that? But that was pretty quick for the most part.
No, you were one of the things I really liked about your game is just, obviously just super quick player. And really, has that always been the case? Because I'm thinking that, this is just your second time playing in a USG event. It's your first time getting to match play, and obviously every match gets you closer to the ultimate goal. You would think that maybe you would slow down a little bit or start to think a little bit more. I mean, that's just not just you. I'm just saying in general, anyone's like, oh my gosh, I'm in the round of 16. Oh, I'm in the quarters. And okay, this is a big deal. You just pretty much seem to be even keeled the entire way around and played at the same pace. Is that pretty much how you approach the game?
So when I got to SMU, my teammates Noah and Mac and a little bit of Ben were extremely quick, and that they would always tell me I was extremely average in my speed. So I've been working on it, but ever since I got here. But no, definitely the last 2 years they helped me speed up my game a little bit.
Okay,
and it takes my head out of it a lot too.
During the final against Strafacci, I mean, look, we're just, and he knows it too. He mentioned that he was a little bit slow, and we don't need to go into that direction of how slow or if whatever it is. But how challenging is it when you know that your pace of play is different than your opponent's? Whether if you're the fast one or the slow one, like how do you? Because there's no crowd out there. There's no one else to watch while, there's nothing to do out there. So how do you keep your head in it?
Kind of hard sometimes with they're kind of polar opposite because you're just sitting there. I think sometimes I just started just having a full on conversation with my dad, just like completely off topic. But yeah, I tried to keep patience, but at some points it definitely required a lot of patience. So you just kind of have to wait. But I mean, nothing. I'm not like worried. I'm not like worried about getting iced or like icing the kicker or anything like that. So I thought it was okay. I knew it was kind of his game. So I was I was ready for almost anything, but it was all right.
Well, you made this great run. You know, you get into match play, and I think I had a lot of favorite moments of the week, but I think one of the favorites was you win your round of 64 match against William Walker, and I know that we met and spoke after that, and you made some comment like, "I think I just shot 85. I have to go to the range right now." And I looked it up, and with concessions, you shot a blistering 77. So,
Oh wow!
yeah, you broke 80 of their parts. So obviously, that's going to happen in match play. There are going to be times where you're going to shoot 6 under and lose, 3 and 2. There's going to be times that you're going to shoot 77 and you get by. So that happens to everyone. Did you have a conscious thought of what you were working on at the range? Because I was there with you and Mac while you guys were working at it, and I didn't really see any issues. I don't understand what you guys are working on. So what were you doing then at the range? Just trying to, you tell me.
Yeah. So with my swing, I keep it really simple. So like the only thing I was really doing was just kind of getting a little off balance kind of at the start. So I tend to get on my toes. So I try to feel like I sit on my heels a lot, and then I just kind of that's all I really need to do. And then after that, I just think of I need to rotate that left hip around or right hip around the corner or something like that.
Sure.
But for the most part, I definitely had to work a little bit on putting because I putted awful. I think I had about 40 putts that day.
Well, I can't look at that, but I can see that you got through that match, and then you get through Noah Norton in the round of 32. That one was you could tell you were playing a lot better there, and then then really you kind of don't run into an issue until you get to Cameron Sisk in the round of 8. And what's it like when you're 4 up through 10 and then tied after 14 holes?
That happened quick. Yeah, I was. I like kind of. I missed a couple shots, but I didn't play that bad. And then all of a sudden, he just tied, and I look at my dad. I'm like, "Oh shit!" But no, you're kind of excited, and then all of a sudden, your heart kind of sinks because no, he has all the momentum, and
Sure,
you're just sitting back and trying to just watch and keep your eyes open.
So you get through that one. You kind of, I think you kind of nodded off and took a nap I think you just went out and you just like wandered away and had a smoothie or something and came back and you were tied. So then you win 2 holes and you get through that. The Sharpstein match. This is basically the semifinals. You win this, you know what's coming. Is this? And I think I asked Tyler Strafacci the same question, and I would ask anyone this question that's in that position. Is the semifinal match in the U.S. Amateur the hardest match for an amateur to play in?
Definitely for me. Yeah, I was more nervous for that one than the championship match. And I think it's strictly because of those exemptions.
Yeah.
You're just kind of thinking like, wow, this could do so much for me. All I have to do is get through this guy, but no, it makes it hard for sure.
Yeah, you guys kind of came out pretty much, kind of level the entire way, and then, you guys tied the first 4 holes, and then it kind of went back and forth, and you kind of closed them out in the back 9. Obviously, you've been asked it so many times, what's this like? You're going to play in the Masters, but that night before the championship, like I know that I, you had the Brownie that night, but at some point you gotta, get back to the room and get rested, get off your feet, and you're kind of alone there with your thoughts. How did you sleep that night? What was that? Once you got out of the restaurant, you got settled and got all squared away for the next day. Do you remember that? I'm sure that evening you couldn't have slept great.
Yeah, so I think we had dinner. We went straight to McKee's at like 8, and then we probably got in bed by like 10ish. But I slept awful. That was I think I finally fell asleep around 2:30.
Wow.
But it was the same thing for the last 2 matches. I was just sitting there just trying to relax because I knew I probably wasn't going to fall asleep for a long time, but it took forever to fall asleep those last 2 nights. I know you just get those thoughts running through your head.
Sure.
It's like, and then, yeah, it was a crazy week, and it's my mind was just racing for about 4 hours once I hit the pillow.
You get up in the morning, and I mean it's a long day. It's 36 holes. If I remember right, it was probably like a 9:30 start for the morning session, and then and I think around 3 o'clock local time is when they started you off for the afternoon session. But I was really curious that night, like, what are these two guys going to do? I mean, they're they didn't sleep well. They're exhausted. That they're fully aware of what's on the line, and you guys, I think we spoke about it at some point, and I was incorrect. I said that you guys shot 60 as a 4-ball. With concessions, you guys actually shot 59 as a 4-ball in the morning session, which I still do not understand how two guys that know what's on the line have to be nervous, have to be tired, and you guys go out, and I think you dropped like birdies. Like, what did you bury the first 3 holes, if I remember correctly?
Yeah, rattled off 3 in a row to start.
I mean, did you see that day starting like that? I'm guessing not.
No, absolutely not. I mean, I knew I just had to go out there and kind of do my thing, but I was just kind of see what happened, and then I got off hot. It was kind of nice, a little more relaxing, definitely. But
yeah,
it kind of came out of nowhere.
Yeah, you shot 65 on your own ball in the morning with concessions, and just, I mean, of course he makes the comeback to bring it close on 18, but you're still, I mean, he had to play hell of a golf in the back 9 just to bring it, just to bring it close. At some point, and obviously, you know where this thing ended up, and I mean, gosh, runner up at the USAM to get all those things is fantastic. Was there ever a point in the match where you were thinking to yourself, I got this? Did you ever get ahead of yourself?
I have to say maybe a little bit. Definitely being 5 up through 12. Yeah, I was a little excited, but I told myself, like, there's a lot of golf left.
Sure.
And I just need to stay within my game and that type of thing. So no, yeah, definitely was definitely pretty excited, but I think I tried to stay within myself for the most part, and just managed to cool down a little bit after that. I kind of pulled a little bit of a DJ, what he did this weekend, kind of 11 under through 11, part in, but how
about that guy? I mean, guy shoots 60. I mean, he shoots 60, and everyone is like thinking he's kind of a choke artist because he only shot 60.
Yeah, I mean, you're just running hot, and then all of a sudden it's just, I don't know. It just, I mean, it's still a hell of a round. I mean,
no, I know that. I just find it funny.
But I know it's people like kind of bash on guys that finish off slow when they're that hot, and almost call it a choke job for not shooting 59. But
yeah,
I mean, that's the craziest start to golf I've ever seen in my life.
And he shoots 30 under for the tournament, which is just, that's bonkers.
That freaking domination.
Yeah, I don't know. One of my other highlights of the week was, and this was not televised, thank God, but because it's so. Anytime I ever saw you, you were looking at me like you expected me to say something to you, and I didn't do that with any players because I would, on my side, I'm like, you know what? Don't say anything unless they say something to you, because it'll be just my luck where the live scoring will be delayed and I'll say something dumb like, hey, playing well, right? And they'll just be coming off of it like a double or a triple. So I'm like, I'm not going to do that. But I drive out there, and I guess for some reason you were hanging behind after you hit your tee shot on 11. And everyone, Tyler and the TV crews or the cameras or wherever, they're all ahead. And you're just walking by yourself, and I'm just pulling up in the golf cart. And you look over, and I already know that, like, okay, I know where he's at. He's 4 up or 5 up or whatever. And you're looking over at me, and I'm just like, what are you doing? And you say, I don't know. And I just was like, I'm like, that's perfect. Because do you remember this, right?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm guessing.
I really didn't know. I mean, I was in full blackout mode. I think I was 6 under at that point.
Yeah, and I was just like, what are you doing? And you're just like, I'm going to go play golf now. I'm like, all right, get out of here. Have a good time. It's the craziest thing. So you obviously, you get all the great things that are coming to you as a U.S. amateur finalist. Get to play in the Masters, get to play. And another thing about that is it's not just you get to spend 1 week in Augusta. I'm assuming you are going to really take advantage of all the practice opportunities between now and then.
Yeah, for sure. I've I've had a lot of people come up to me and offer me to go play at some of the best places in the world, and including Augusta. There's some guys at Trinity out here that would. I think I had to get my invite first, but they said they love to take me out and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely. People are treating me a little different, which is a little weird.
How about that? Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, I mean, I feel a little more respected, but it is different because I was for the last couple. I was up at Montreux probably for like the last week or so, and I would got probably 50 guys that would come up to me and eat lunch with me, and I had no idea who they were before.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So
All of a sudden you're the hot girl.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's a little interesting for sure.
So not only do you have to process all the great opportunities that are coming your way with playing in these great tournaments, but now you have to kind of look at people differently that are coming up to you because you're like, all right, what do you want? Like you just saw me I'm the same guy a month ago. What's different about me now? Oh yeah.
Yeah. No, I was actually talking to right when I made it to match play. I had dinner with the Meisners, and I told them I'm trying to be meaner because I come off like too nice,
Uh-huh.
and so like some people have described it like if they beat me, it's like beating a bunny.
Uh-huh.
So I tried to be a little meaner, but it's kind of hard when guys are just as nice. But I tried to work on it a little bit. It wasn't successful. I just tried to shut up and not say anything.
I think that's really all you got going for you, dude. Because I think if you just stop talking and just kind of have that glazed over look on your face and just make birdies, I think that's really the best way. Because I don't. Yeah, I see the bunny thing. I kind of get it. Yeah.
If I open my mouth, it's like game over.
Pretty much. Pretty much.
Whatever comes out, just like even by the tone of my voice, it's just not good.
Yeah, it's not. You're not intimidating. You're not intimidating at all. But that's okay. Your game is, but you yourself, it's I'm sorry to have to break that to you, but it's
it's just not me. Maybe I'll try to go full Bryson mode. Maybe I'll be a little scarier then.
I mean, good luck with that. Well, I'm guessing you're also. I mean, with all the media that you've received and all the videos and the pictures and the interviews, I'm guessing you're just pulling all sorts of chicks right now, aren't you?
I'd love to say that, but I've gotten so many messages from dudes, and way too many dudes.
A lot of dudes.
It's just all dudes.
No, nothing from the female persuasion. Nothing like Ollie. You're so cute. You're so great. I saw you on TV. Nothing. Just dudes.
It's like it's maybe like a couple more chick followers, but at least 1,000 of those followers were dudes.
Huh.
Like 99% of them, and then all the DMs. Hey man, great playing.
Right.
Hope to see you soon. It was just,
and you don't know who these people are either.
Yeah, I was so confused.
So is this something you've talked to your psychologist about? The fact that you can't parlay all this stardom into have you opened up to the psychologist about that?
We're not on that level yet.
I understand. Okay. You gotta go
it's just I think just about you right now is the.
Oh wow! I didn't realize.
And probably Steven and my dad.
Okay, all right. Well,
I think you're in the bubble for that one.
Oh, I'm in the bubble. Okay, I'm in the bubble. All
yeah.
Right. Well, let's see how taxing that's going to be. I don't know if I can. I'll do my best. I'll see if I can help you out a little bit.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
Well, whatever I can do to help. So, all right. So you're back in school, and you're at SMU, kind of taking classes, kind of doing the remote learning thing, and then really not entirely sure what your fall schedule is going to look like. So how do you kind of come down from the high of the U.S. Amateur and then settle into normal college life again?
It's been weird for sure. Kind of doing that half and half classes. Some days I go to school, some days are virtual. But it's hard to look forward to something. It's almost like we just got out of school for quarantine again. And like you just have nothing to look forward to, but you just try to practice and play with your teammates and try to have a little fun in between for sure. But it's hard. It is.
Well, Ollie, listen, it was a lot of fun to kind of follow you around that week at Bandon Dunes and just see how everything turned out, and getting to spend time with you and then Mac, and just it was a great week. I know that you'll look back on it. I know a little bit of a sting by not winning, but gosh, a lot of cool things happening to you. So I have a feeling I have a feeling we'll be talking again soon. This isn't going to be a weekly thing. I just want you to be aware of that. I can't hold your hand through everything, but we'll definitely do it again soon. I appreciate you stopping by the back of the range.
Oh no, thank you. I appreciate all you've done for us. So thank you.
And that was Ollie Osborne. Wow. Truly a hysterical episode. Thanks to him for joining me on this episode of The Back of the Range. Don't forget, follow along on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Every episode is available at thebackoftherange.com. Have a great weekend. We will see you again next time at The Back of the Range.